Did y'all like that? Oh. Did y'all like that? Quote of the day, what an insane race. The Roval, once again, did not disappoint. And what a comeback after making a mistake in heartburn turn. And the round of 16 has come to an end. Let's get into it. Let's get started. Number 1, Chase Elliott. I'm still in shock. I'm still in shock. How did he pull that off? Elliott conquered the Roval yesterday, winning the Bank of America Roval 400 over Alex Bowman, Kevin Harvick, Clint Bowyer, and Brad Keselowski, and clinching his spot into the next round of the playoffs. Where do I begin? Let's just first get started with Chase Elliott's weekend leading and then in his race. Over the weekend, I had optimism that Chase was going to run so well in this race, considering he's really good at road courses, and he's won 2 road course races, both at Watkins Glen last year and earlier this year, about a month ago. And Elliott, in practice, looked very, very fast. Qualifying, made a little mistake spinning out and started 19th, but in happy hour on Saturday, he was the fastest guy, and I felt like there's a chance that Elliott can step up and get to the front as quickly as possible. And lo and behold, he drove to the front. He had a very good car. Earned 2 points in stage 1, which was really good. And at the beginning of the race, 37 points above the cut line. Needed a couple of stage points just to be sure. And then he, beginning of stage 2, drove his way past Kevin Harvick and then took the lead from Joey Logano and just drove away like nobody could touch this guy. And ran off, won stage 2, earning him a playoff point and 10 points. And at that time, Elliott locked himself into the next round. I didn't know at the time because, I was at the track and the radio guys didn't bring it up. But according to TV, Elliott had clinched the next round, which was very, very important and very promising. And now the focus for stage 3 was to go win the thing. But on a restart with 45 laps to go, y'all saw what happened. I was in complete shock as Chase Elliott overshot turn 1 and went straight into turn 1, Tom's heartburn turn. Exactly where Brad Keselowski made that mistake on that late race restart last year. And looking at the front, I was in shock this cannot be happening. Because fun fact, people, I've been to NASCAR races since 2006. The races that I've been to live at the track, my favorite driver has not failed to finish. Knock on wood. Elliott, the car I was so worried about, but looking at the front of it, it didn't really look that bad. Not like Brad Keselowski's from last year, but I was worried, did we punch a hole in the radiator and probably destroy it? So I was a little concerned about that. Elliott came to pit road, fixed the car, restarted 37th, and drove his way through the field like that car wasn't even hurt whatsoever. And on the last restart, with 5 laps to go, overhauled Martin Truex for second, and overtook Kevin Harvick in the final 3 corners, and took the lead and never looked back. What a strong performance by Chase Elliott. And after he won, he went back to exactly where he made that mistake and did perhaps the most savage and awesome burnout of the year. I give that burnout of the year. That is just funny. Climbed out of the car, jumped off it, and his car was still rolling. But what a day. I've never seen Chase Elliott win in person, and yesterday you get to experience that on a weekend where I celebrated my 21st. What a day. I'm so happy for Chase, and we still got shot at championship and more playoff points to go with it. What a day. Number 2, Alex Bowman. Unlike Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman had to qualify for this race for the next round. He had to get in on points. And Friday looked promising, qualifying on the outside pole of teammate William Byron, who's also in a points position where he probably need to point his way in. But Alex Bowman made him goof up in happy hour on Saturday by backing his car into the turn 5 barrier, and he had to start the back. And at the first lap in the backstretch chicane, he got wheel hopped, spun around, hit Bubba Wallace and Austin Dillon, had to serve a penalty, got some track position back towards the end of stage 1, but got spun in the right when Kurt Busch ran to the back of Chris Buescher, ran to the back of Jimmy Johnson, ran to the back of Denny Hamlin, ran to the back of Bowman and Eric Jones. I'll get to Jones a little bit later. Alex Bowman just literally, it could not seem to catch a break. And then in the middle of stage 2, he was racing with Bubba Wallace, and Bowman, according to his race, said Bubba was flipping him off on the backstretch for the previous 3 laps, and Bowman said, "I've had enough, I'm turning you, and I gotta go." I know playoffs, there's drama in the playoffs, even with playoff drivers and non-playoff drivers. There's going to be drama and there's going to be tempers. Alex Bowman drove his butt off, got all the way up to second, following Chase Elliott to the front on some fresh tires, and second place is good enough to get Alex Bowman into the next round with Chase Elliott and William Byron. A heck of a drive by Alex Bowman. But after the race, the guy was so dehydrated because he was actually sick earlier in the week. But when you step into a race car, you feel just fine. There's nothing really wrong with you whatsoever. But there's been times where guys get out when they're sick. Tony Stewart in the 2008 Daytona July race, he had J.J. Elliott who failed to qualify, drive the car for the rest of the race. Alex Bowman climbed out of the car and was being tended by medical staff. And Bubba Wallace, who was upset about that incident in the backstretch chicane, came over and chucked a bottle of Gatorade, water, whatever was in him. Bubba, I like Bubba Wallace, but Bubba, when a guy's dehydrated, being tended by the medical staff, that's not cool at all. Hey, let's talk about this later. Let's talk about this another place, another time when you're feeling better. Not when a guy is trying to recover from being dehydrated and has been sick all week. That's not classy. That's kind of jerky, to be honest with you. So, Bubba Wallace has got to learn to respect that. I mean, because nobody came up to him when he fainted after his first NASCAR race in 2017 and said, hey, dude, you made a mistake. Like, I'm really upset with you with what you did. They respect, like, they took him to the medical center. Nobody, gave him any trouble. So, if it's complicated, but, Bubba Wallace probably shouldn't have done that at all. Number 3, oh my gosh, I thought last year's first time at the Roval was going to be a lot of calamity. There was a lot of calamity, particularly, mostly the entire race. Stage 1, that big wreck and heartburn turn, where luckily everybody, with the exception of Erik Jones, was able to recover and drive the rest of the race. The Bubba and Bowman incident in the backstretch chicane in Stage 2. But Stage 3, towards the end, when the playoff points were on the line and guys were trying to get higher spots to help propel themselves in, everything just went calamity corner. We saw guys crash each other. Kurt Busch and Busch were going around in turn 9, or NASCAR turn 1 and 2 of the oval part. Ryan Newman got spun, got turned around with Denny Hamlin and Ryan Preece. I mean, we saw so many guys get spun around yesterday. It was the best Roval race. It was the second year, but this one is definitely better than last year's race by far, because the racing and the excitement was so intense, and I hope the fans got their money's worth out of it. Number 4, Ryan Newman, who came in 13 points above the cut line, and everybody think, okay, Newman, he's one of the toughest guys to pass, he's probably got himself a good day. Well, to be quite honest, Newman had a pretty crappy weekend at the Roval, to say the very least. And I'm honest, folks, he was bad in practice and qualifying. I felt like, yeah, Newman's not advancing. But he kept it within the top 20, 15 most of the race, but still not a good position. But late in the race, it seemed like with where he was and compared to Bowman, especially with the previous race at Richmond, that Newman was going to lock himself in. But with 4 laps to go, or 3 laps to go on the backstretch chicane, Newman overshot the chicane and went through it, and not when the barriers, he went over it, and that ultimately cost him a shot to move to the next round, because he had to serve the stop and go. But he didn't stop. You're supposed to stop on the front stretch of the restart zone and let the car, and you have to come to a complete stop and let the cars go by. He didn't do that because he knows my platform's in line, and what if people wreck? I'm not stopping. And NASCAR black flagged him. I mean, Newman shot himself in the foot to lock himself into the next round. And I didn't think Newman was going to advance anyways. So Newman shot himself in the foot. He didn't make it in. Gotta wait till next year. And number 5, the round of 16 has come to an end, and 4 men were left on the outside. Aric Almirola by 5 points, but kind of expected, because I really haven't seen a whole lot of Almirola this year, to be honest with you. After Cinderella story from last year, just okay, but not as good as he was last year. Ryan Newman overshot that chicane, cost himself. Credit where credit's due to Newman improving Roush and that 16 from where they were last year to get in the play. That's impressive, but he was a first-round exit. Kurt Busch, that was the guy that I felt like was going to advance to the next round. And ever since that Qatar in Vegas, it all went downhill for Kurt Busch. And, of course, literally a round to forget for Erik Jones. Broken transmission at Las Vegas. Got disqualified from 4th place after failing inspection last week at Richmond. And crashing early in the race and finishing dead last. I mean, he didn't deserve to go to the next round. When you have these mistakes and you don't deserve to go to the next round, and you didn't make it to the next round, you don't deserve it. Truth of the matter is, you had to be consistent, and those 4 guys weren't as consistent as the 12 others that advanced the next round. With all that being said, the 12 that move on: Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, Clint Bowyer, Alex Bowman, Ryan Blaney, and William Byron. Which of those 4 will be on the outside after Kansas? Because we got a round of 12 coming up. We got Dover next weekend. We got Talladega, which is the real wild card. And I wouldn't discount the Kansas race as a wild card, because if you saw that Kansas night race earlier this year, now it'll be a day race. If we have the same race like we did earlier this year and then Under the Lights, that place better be packed, because that Kansas race was awesome. And I think the fans are going to get their money's worth out of that and Talladega. And also, one count Dover, too, because remember last year, the last few laps were those restarts and, guys trying to win and knock themselves in, not have to worry about Talladega? It was crazy. And I think it's going to be the same with this next round coming up. So, which of the 4 will be eliminated? We will see. Which 8 will have a shot to move on to the round of 8? Only time will tell. So, subscribe, like. Congrats to Chase Elliott. What a monstrous win. I hope you all had a wonderful time at the Roval. Hope you all enjoyed watching it. And I'll see you next week.